up, Cuts? It's the Hater, and it's the Monday after WrestleMania. At the time that I'm recording this, it's 9:49 p.m., which means there's another hour of Raw left. However, I decided to start it now because I'm not enjoying this Raw at all, and they explained that we're going to see the Boneyard match again, which I saw last night, and that was about 40 minutes. So as far as I can tell, there's another 30 minutes of actual Raw going on tonight. So this is going to be a hybrid video. I'm going to talk about what happened on Raw so far and what's going to happen before the Boneyard match because, you know, I'm going to talk for a little bit. So we're going to see if anything else happens. But thus far, this is the worst Raw after Mania ever. Following, in my opinion, like I said last night, the worst WrestleMania I've ever seen. I mean, there was very little redeeming about last night's WrestleMania, but we're not going to talk about that anymore. That's in the past. It's time for a new season of wrestling, which means it's time for a new season of The Hater. You understand what I'm saying, motherfucks? Now, before we go any further, I'm going to try to track down all the subscribers that have subscribed, because I'm sure, as all of you have noticed at this point, that's right, motherfucks, we have hit our goal. We had like 3 or 4 more days to get the 500 subscribers, which would be my 6-month anniversary, and we hit 500 subscribers in less than 6 months. I cannot begin to tell you, motherfucks, how happy I am about that, and how, how grateful I am for everyone that has subscribed, and everyone that will subscribe. Subscribe right now, cunts. You know what I mean? I'm very appreciative. I never thought in a million years that I would have 500 subscribers like in the first year and a half, let alone in the first 6 months. As I've said numerous times, my goal was to get like 120 subscribers, you know what I mean? So the fact that I have obviously exceeded that is something that I'm actually very proud of. You know, it goes to show that the Hater is a motherfucks, and you can't get rid of him that easily. All right. I went on my emails just now to look at some subscribers, and there's a few people that I must have forgotten. I remember the last person that I talked about was Danny Langolier, I believe it was. So since then, we've had the following: GamerAth5, welcome GamerAth5, motherfucks. Moses A. Hooper. Some of these people I may have talked about. I can't tell what your pictures are because I'm just in my email right now, but there we are. Inmate640, welcome. Camelo Star, I've definitely talked about him before. I know that for a fact. Mega Augusto, talked about him. Reaper Relay, Bruce Sharp, Reverend X Forever. Okay, I've talked about these motherfuckers. Let's see. I've talked about this guy. Mayor Matthew. I talked about you. Mike McDonald. I don't know. I don't think I talked about Mayor Matthew and Mike McDonald. So, Mayor Matthew, welcome to the channel. Mike McDonald, what's up, motherfucker? Red Gumdrop, 1469 up in this bitch. Ice City Kid. Ice City Kid. You know what I'm saying? He's back. Alexei Rybchak, or probably Alexei Rybchak, welcome. And the most recent subscriber, Lord Bentner. Welcome, Lord Bentner, in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? We don't fuck around with any of this anymore. We're now growing at levels unforeseen, motherfucks. So, with that being said, I'm going to talk about a few things. First of all, let's talk about what's happening thus far on Raw. I mean, I don't even know where to start. This is like the worst Raw I've ever seen in my life, all right? It starts out, I think the first match that I saw, which must have been the first match, was Asuka versus Liv Morgan. Asuka wins. Not one person gives a flying fuck. This is a waste of time. No one cares about this, motherfuckers. There isn't one person that cares about this match. There isn't one person that cares about Asuka anymore. No one really ever cared about her. But this goes to show that everyone that watches wrestling basically is not everyone, but like 80% of people are complete smarks. Like they think Asuka is a great wrestler when she's booked strong. You know, remember when people would say that Asuka is like one of the top 5 wrestlers of all time, like men or women? I mean, no one says that anymore. Why? Because now she's like having competitive matches with Liv Morgan. You know, when she was out there being presented as undefeated, people are like, wow, what a great wrestler. Don't be fucking marks. It's not a real sport. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be the theme of this video. It's not a real sport, and for that reason, we're going to talk about a lot of things that happened today and the day before that have to do with the fact that wrestling is not a real sport, yet people continue to behave as if it is. Next up, we had a WrestleMania rematch. This is a tradition that happens every WrestleMania and every Raw after WrestleMania. There's always a few rematches. A rematch we had today was the Street Profits, aka the Private Party motherfucks, versus Garza and Austin Theory. At some point in the match, one of the guys that's on the announce table says, Garza and Austin Theory have been teaming together for 1 week. Imagine if they became champion. Motherfucks. For 1 week, they've teamed together, and they get a WrestleMania title shot. Remember when you had to earn that shit? You know, remember when you had to, quote-unquote, pay your dues? You know what I'm saying? I remember they used to have, like, tag team turmoil matches at No Way Out. You know what I mean? To determine who's going to go to WrestleMania for the tag team titles. It was a huge deal. You know? Now it's like Austin Theory is in the match. It's like his first WWE match. Then we have a triple threat, like, singles match for the tag titles. This has been a complete circle jerk. You know what I mean? It's been complete garbage. So, yeah, that happened, and it ended in a DQ. Zelina Vega came out, and then the same thing happened as last night, in that Zelina Vega came out, and then what happened was Bianca Belair came out. She's now on Raw, motherfucks. You know what I'm saying? She's now on Raw. So the match becomes Zelina versus, what's her face? Bianca Belair. This is not an unseen thing. It's not an unforeseen thing that we saw for the first time today. It happens all the time when the match starts out one way and it deteriorates into like a 6-man tag or something, right? But this match didn't become a 6-man tag. It became a one-on-one women's match. And then that ended in DQ as well. So then it became a 6-man match. I don't even think I've seen this before in my life, where a match gets restarted twice and changed twice. Like, you would think that anyone in the world cares about any one of these 6 competitors. We don't, motherfucks. Bianca Belair, who I thought was going to be a star, I already hate her. Like, she came out, she cut a promo on Zelina. It was a shit promo. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be okay for her to cut a shit promo if it was in front of 40,000 people, but it wasn't, motherfucks. It wasn't. Then next up, we have 2 jobbers. 2 jobbers come out. It's fucking, what's it called? At this point, we're already like 1 hour into the show. Then we have another 25-minute match. It's fucking, what's it called? Aleister Black versus Apollo Crews, who I haven't seen on TV in about a year and a half. Aleister Black beats him in like a competitive 25-minute match. At a certain point, I'm starting to think, man, maybe they want Apollo Crews to win and just give him like a little push. You know, give him an opportunity, because the night after WrestleMania, that happens sometimes, you know? Like new people start their new journeys, and all of a sudden you see the guy that's been losing all year, all of a sudden he's winning. He starts a winning streak. You know what I mean? So that happened. Match went on forever. Aleister Black hit the Black Mass and he won. This just proves that Aleister Black will never amount to anything. Let's be real. This guy, he has Eric Rowan written all over him. You know what I mean? He's the kind of guy that he will continue to do this. He will continue to beat like D-level wrestlers and then the occasional A-level Lashley for some reason. He'll continue to beat these guys, but then when it's all said and done, he will be relegated to the undercard, and Lashley will keep his spot in what we're gonna call the upper mid-card now. Aleister Black has soon to fail written all over him. Aleister Black is going to be one of those guys in a few years that people say, WWE stifled his creativity. Aleister Black should go to AEW where he can become like Aleister Dark. You know what I mean? Like that kind of bullshit. Oh, maybe he's the next Exalted one. You know what I mean? It's going to be something like that. This guy's never going to become champion. I don't see it. I feel like if anything was going to happen with him, it would have already happened. You know what I mean? They would have taken him to a level where he's not fighting against like fucking, what's it called? Apollo Crews, you know, who has no hopes, right? He's gonna have like at most a Finn Balor career. He might win the title like one day. I highly doubt it, but if he does, it's gonna be like Finn Balor did. Then he'll be back in NXT or some other jobber show. So I didn't really enjoy watching this at all. I didn't care. No one cared. Then next up, we had another match involving 4 jobbers. We had 2 of the mid-card, like those guys I always talk about, those guys, the Buddy Murphys of the world, the Angel Garzas of the world, like those motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Like that mid-card jobber, you know? So we have 2 of them, Ricochet and Cedric Alexander, who are both boring and no one cares about them, against the relatively interesting team that I've always liked in NXT of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan lose to this new team of Ricochet and Cedric Alexander. In my opinion, I'm going to say it like it is as usual. I am surprised that it took this long to put Ricochet and Cedric Alexander in a tag team. They are both two vanilla midgets who cannot talk on the mic for shit. You understand what I'm saying? And more importantly than that, perhaps, right? They're two guys that have had the same career trajectory. I remember there was a month where they were both feuding with AJ Styles, and it looked like both of these motherfuckers were going to be the next US champion, and then AJ Styles buried them both. So, in my opinion, the writing was on the wall. These two guys are completely interchangeable. This goes along with my theory of the completely interchangeable mid-card jobber. You know what I mean? Like, if you took away Cedric Alexander and put in Buddy Murphy, it would be the same exact thing. No one would care, you know? So that happened. They won that match. It was supposed to come off as, like, impressive, right? Like, the idea of the match was like, oh, these two guys, like, are finally finding their groove, you know what I mean? Like they didn't know what they were doing this whole time, but now they're finding their groove, you know what I mean? But the realities are what they are, and the realities are that nobody gives a fuck about any of this. You know what I'm saying? Not one person cared. Like, who the fuck cares? I don't. Do any of you care? I doubt it, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So, there you have it. I mean, we had what we had, and people didn't really care, let's be honest, and the match just ended. And then next up, I think I've now caught up. We're on a commercial break, and I believe it's going to be time, motherfuckers. It's going to be time, motherfuckers, for they're going to show us Edge versus Orton again. Now, a lot of people, for some reason, enjoyed this match. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's my opinion that this match was not very fun. I mean, I noticed last night. Like last night, there was a lot of people. I went to a lot of videos. I watched a few videos, a few reviews that other people made. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of these things happened, but the facts are what they are. Like I saw a lot of people. Like it was very predictable to me because I had some of my friends text me saying that like the Boneyard match was awesome, and a few people that like wrestling that I know kept saying things like, oh, you know, like I really enjoyed the John Cena Bray Wyatt thing, and it made me realize, and like I don't want to sound like an asshole because I mean at the end of the day I'm the hater, but I respect everyone's opinion, no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying, motherfuckers? But like the facts are what the facts are, right? There is a certain element of smarkiness and markiness that comes with being a wrestling fan, right? Like, there are people out there, like, casual fans will never like what happened with John Cena and Bray Wyatt. A casual person, I don't mean a casual mark. I mean a casual, like a guy who, like, goes to his friend's house to watch WrestleMania and doesn't watch wrestling the rest of the year. Like a complete casual. That guy will look at his friend in embarrassment. He'd be like, oh, you watch a thing where John Cena pretends he's like 7 different characters at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I stood with that, and honestly, with the Boneyard match too. I'm not saying that the Boneyard match, like compared to the other things that we saw, like fucking Bray Wyatt and John Cena, the Boneyard match felt like a 5-star classic. But the problem of the Boneyard match, and as well as like all this kind of cinematic wrestling, this is one thing that pissed me off. I went to see all these YouTubers that I used to watch back in the day, and all of them were like, "This is how cinematic wrestling should be done." You know, like I'm thinking to myself, what are you talking about? Cinematic wrestling isn't a thing. Like, they made that thing up like 3 years ago, and all of a sudden, people on YouTube are experts. They're like, oh, cinematic wrestling, it should be done like this. Really? Should it be done like that? Because in my opinion, it shouldn't be done at all. There's no room for that. It's kind of like saying, you know what? Instead of watching NFL, why don't we watch fucking, like, cinematic football? No, man, I want to watch the actual thing. You know, the entire premise of wrestling, the entire draw of wrestling is that wrestling is cool because wrestling is live, right? Because anything can happen, right? Anything can happen in the sense of like surprises can happen. You don't know what's going to happen. There's no spoilers for live shows, obviously, right? But when you start introducing things like teleportation, and then you make the mistake of showing that match again tonight, it looks like they're going to show the whole match, you know, then what's the point? You know what I mean? Why should I watch that? Like, if someone can win by teleportation, maybe tomorrow they're going to win by, like I said, turning into a dragon. You know, there has to be some sort of consistency. Now, again, I'm not fundamentally against doing like a gimmicky, goofy match, you know? Like my friend today, one of my friends who's a complete casual, he texted me. He said, "Yo, I heard what happened last night." Like, he's a complete casual. Like, he's been to WrestleMania with me, but he doesn't watch every week. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Like, if you ask him who the champion is, he wouldn't know, right? But he knows a few things. You know, he knows Undertaker. He knows these things. And he was like, "Hey, hater." He was like, "What was this Boneyard match that I heard about?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a match everyone liked," I said, "but apparently I'm the only one who didn't like it." And I explained to him what it was. I'm like, "It's supposed to be this over-the-top, goofy thing where Undertaker teleports." And you know what he said? He was like, "Yeah, that's fucking retarded." That's what he said, because he's a real casual. You know what I mean? If now, the people that liked it, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, because a lot of people that I like, a lot of people that watch my videos, right? And a lot of people that are friends of mine in real life that are big wrestling fans, they really liked it. And I love all these people, right? And I understand reasonable minds can disagree, but a lot of these people get off on the fact that they know more about wrestling than casual fans. And that is kind of a little bit, motherfucks, the makings of a mark, right? This idea that, like, people got off on the fact that John Cena had these moments, right? Where he was like, "Yeah, you know, like, I'm Hulk Hogan," right? Like, the reaction that was supposed to elicit from you was, "Oh, I remember when Hulk Hogan did that." But what if you don't remember when Hulk Hogan did that, motherfuckers? What if you don't remember that? What if you never watched that? Because that was fucking 20 years ago. You know what I mean? If you never watched that, right, you're going to be like, "What the fuck just happened? Why is John Cena coming out acting different and, like, in the ring with the opponents he's supposed to fight today, and they're just talking about what happened in WCW? What the fuck? That's retarded." Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the problem. The problem is that, like, this did not appeal to casual fans. I am not against the concept at all. The concept was palpable in many ways. Like, if that happened, if the Firefly Funhouse match, number one, wasn't a match, right? And two, it happened on this episode of Raw tonight, for example, I'd be totally cool with it. I'd be like, "Wow, what a great segment that was," right? But even the final deletion, that happened on, like, a throwaway episode of Impact. You know, it didn't happen at the, like, Bound for Glory. You understand what I'm saying? Like, at the shows where you advertise Cena to me, Cena is competing at WrestleMania, and he didn't compete last year, I expect a match. I want to see the AA. I want to see the Sister Abigail. I want to see these things in a wrestling ring, right? Or outside, I don't care. You know, at least the Boneyard match was a match. You know, it was a match that just kind of went everywhere, but at least it was a match. At least they had a conclusion. Not the Fiend pin Cena and then Bray Wyatt counts. And I was getting into a debate with someone last night on the comment sections of a different video, and this also happened in the comment sections of one of my videos. But basically, like, this person was trying to explain to me why it was great. And I'm just like, "Yo, I get it. I understood what they were doing." You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't deep. It wasn't this. People were like, "Wow, it's so great. What a deep moment. Bray Wyatt got his comeuppance from 6 years ago." And I'm thinking to myself, dude, first of all, the fact that people are still hung up on 6 years ago, like, get over it, man. Bray Wyatt is never going to be a big main eventer. He never will be, especially after last night. You know, the only explanation that I have is that Vince McMahon must have passed out around halfway during the show, and then Triple H came in and took the reins, because that was something that was straight out of AEW. And my biggest issue, probably my only real issue, because I don't really give a shit. You know, Raw can do whatever they want. There's a lot that I don't like, and there's a lot that I don't like in AEW, as you all know. But my real issue is this: people have to be consistent, right? The difference apparently between what we call a mark and a smark and an anti-smart, and this is why in the video where I mentioned Technical Work Rate Productions, in that video I tried to distance myself from the IWC, because in my opinion, not everyone, you know, Technical Work Rate Productions, they're cool now, you know what I'm saying? J-Rance is cool. There's a few other ones that are cool, don't get me wrong, but the fact is what it is, right? There are a lot of people in this so-called IWC that pretend they're anti-smarks, but they're just smarks. It's the same fucking thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're someone that, like for example, last night I saw one of my loyal subscribers, Red X. Remember him, motherfuckers? Red X. I think he was one of my first subscribers. Red X was in this like whatever fucking what the fuck's it called? Like a comment war with this guy, and this guy was like, I think it was in the J-Rance video, and this guy was like, "Drew McIntyre saved the show," and Red X is like, "Dude, Red X stole this from me, but it is what it is." He was like, "Drew McIntyre did 4 moves. He won the WrestleMania main event by doing 4 moves." You know what I mean? Now, I'm not a fan of the technical work rate matches that they have in New Japan and in AEW, by no means. I think that's fucking retarded. Kicking out of 17 knees by Kenny Omega is retarded. But it's also retarded to have a giant guy from Scotland kick another guy in the head 4 times and win the main event. That's retarded. I don't want to see that. That's a garbage match. That was a zero-star match. If you were entertained by Drew McIntyre winning the title, then you can never complain in your life about Cena having 5 moves. Drew McIntyre did 1 move 4 times, motherfuckers. 1 move 4 times, and now is the WWE champion. In other words, he didn't improve at all, right? Because if there was something there, right, where Drew McIntyre had a new set of abilities, something happened with him. No, all he did was he left WWE, came back, and then did a kick move 4 times and became champion. Like, this guy's just been running and kicking people and winning titles left and right. You know what I mean? That's the problem. The problem is, just like it's bad to have a 45-minute match between Kenny Omega and Trent Beretta that no one wants to see, it's also bad to misuse talent like Drew McIntyre or AJ Styles or Brock. You know what I mean? There has to be something there. Something has to connect to something. The match, let me put it to you this way, motherfuckers. What's it called? Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar was the exact same match as Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre, which was the same exact match as Braun Strowman versus Goldberg. Braun Strowman versus Goldberg was the same match as Drew McIntyre versus Lesnar. So if you hated one, you have to hate the other one. You have to be consistent, because I don't know why it's better if Goldberg does 3 spears to Braun and Braun does 4 power slams and wins. And when Brock Lesnar does 3 of 5s and McIntyre does 4 claymores, it's a different story altogether. Like when that happens, they're like, oh, Drew and Brock saved WrestleMania. No, motherfuckers. I guarantee you can go look at my 25 reasons why Brock Lesnar is an awesome video. I love Brock Lesnar. Brock is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But it is this consistency that is important. That when Brock Lesnar takes a shit on the floor, you point to it and you say, that was retarded. I don't want to see that again. Similarly, when Kenny Omega has a good match, like he had a good match with Joey Janela on AEW Dark, like week 2 or week 3 of AEW, right? I was like, that's a great match. I'm not going to sit here and hate everything Kenny Omega does and love everything that Brock Lesnar does just because I'm supposed to, right? That's what a mark is, And that's what a smark is. And apparently, that's what an anti-smark is, because it's the same fucking thing, motherfuckers. You have to be intelligent and make determinations that are like by the book, right? By the book at every single instance, independently from other instances. So when people start saying, like, I saw a video from General Jerry, who I like a lot. I didn't even watch the whole video, if I'm being honest, but the video was like, this is how cinematic wrestling is to be done. And I'm thinking to myself, what? There is no precedent on how cinematic wrestling should be done. In my opinion, it shouldn't be done at all. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden now, people are like, oh, cinematic wrestling, wow, this is so creative. It's not creative. It's stupid. It's like, if I want to watch that, I'll go rewatch Sons of Anarchy and have Jax and Clay fight, because that's what it felt like. Undertaker felt like Clay, and AJ Styles felt like Jax in that prison fight in Sons of Anarchy, if you remember. That's what it felt like. And except Clay and Jax are actors, and they have stunt doubles who are better at faking fights than AJ Styles and Undertaker. AJ Styles and Undertaker are better than stunt doubles and better than Clay and Jax at doing things in the ring, but they're not good at doing these things in a graveyard. It looked like shit. It looked like a shitty movie. And I know people are thinking, they're like, oh, it was supposed to look like that. Okay, well, I personally am not okay with things that are ironically stupid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I'll tolerate it once in a while, like the Final Deletion. I'll tolerate it because that was supposed to be goofy. Like, it wasn't supposed to be serious, and it wasn't supposed to be good. The fact that people ended up liking it was a surprise. Like, the point of that wasn't like, wow, how brilliant is Matt Hardy? The point of that was like, oh, we're going to make you laugh at how shitty wrestling has become. That was the idea of that. But people missed the point completely, and now they're like, oh, cinematic wrestling, I really enjoy this. And I'm not making fun of General Jerry, because General Jerry is not a dummy. I've heard a lot of his videos. I've been listening to him for a long time. But you understand what I'm saying, motherfucks. You have to be consistent. Consistency is number 1. And therefore, I must ask you this question. If instead of Undertaker versus AJ Styles, imagine that it wasn't Taker versus AJ, but instead it was Finn Balor versus, I don't know, motherfucks, Arya Daivari, right? If it was Arya Daivari versus Finn Balor in a boneyard match, would you care? Like, if everything else was exactly the same. They did the same moves, they had the same storyline, if everything was the same, would you care? Or do you like it only because it involves The Undertaker, and perhaps you've been trained to think that everything Undertaker does is at minimum okay. No, motherfucks. Sometimes the Undertaker does dumb shit too. And that's the lesson of last night. That even people like Cena, who I love very much as a wrestler, right? Even people like Cena will once in a while do retarded shit. That's the idea here. That's what we should be drawing from this. Not like, oh, Undertaker was involved, therefore it's a good match. Because let me tell you this, if you took the match Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, and you had the same storyline, right? And instead of them two, it was Arya Daivari and Neville from AEW, right? But they did the same moves. They had the same match, the same quality of match, and the same caliber of execution, and the same storyline. I would like it the exact same way. That's the point I'm trying to make. It doesn't matter if it's Jake Gyllenhaal or Ryan Gosling in a movie. If the movie is good, you'll watch it no matter what, right? That's the idea. You can't be a mark and then think to yourself, well, Undertaker did it, therefore it's better than if someone else did it. No, it's not better than if someone else did it. A match between Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar that ends in 4 moves is not better. It's not better at all than Kenny Omega versus Trent. I honestly would rather watch Kenny Omega versus Trent in a match where I'm like, oh, I can actually follow along what's happening versus like a game of tic-tac-toe, Tom and Jerry shit, as my girlfriend put it. Tom and Jerry shit, man. It's just like, oh, like one guy runs into into the turnbuckle, the other guy hits a spear, then hits another spear, then hits another spear, and then the other guy gets up out of nowhere and hits 4 power slams, and he wins. Are you kidding me? That's the same thing that happened with Brock Lesnar and fucking what's-his-face. And, like Drew McIntyre, right? It's difficult for me to understand why people are so enthralled in this, like, I like WWE, down with AEW, it must be the way it is always. No, motherfuckers. If AEW, for example, the last AEW pay-per-view, which I watched like half of, was substantially better than WrestleMania. And if you don't think that, in my opinion, you're probably a smart. You're probably like, oh, I really did enjoy it. How can you enjoy Edge versus, honestly, how can anyone enjoy it? A lot of people are like, oh, best match of the night. It was just a match of 2 guys slamming each other into walls. That was retarded. There was nothing to enjoy there. You know what I mean? Like the end of the match, fine, I give it props. The end of the match was well done. It told a story, and it ended with a concerto like we all wanted, right? That was good. But about 45%, not 45, about 75% of that match was just like one guy punching the other guy in the stomach and then slamming him against the wall. And then the other guy getting up, doing the same thing. They're just slamming it. It was like I said last night, it was a tour of the Performance Center. You know, they're like, oh, and then, like Todd Phillips or whatever his name is, he's like, oh, this is like the bathroom of the Performance Center. Oh, this is the conference room. Oh, there's like a cage on the conference room top for some reason. And then, like, I don't blame it on Edge or on Orton. Don't get me wrong. Like Edge, for example, he did several things in that match that were creative considering what the match was. But you have these 2 guys who are 2 of the best in-ring guys ever. And instead of doing that, you have Edge like hanging from like a workout machine and doing a kick. Or falling onto a chair like an asshole. That was so stupid. Orton was sitting in a chair, and Edge is like swinging on top of him, like they're about to do some like gay sex move or something, and then he just lands on Orton balls first, and it just looks painful for both of them, and it didn't look cool, and it didn't look badass, and then the rest of the match is them slamming each other on the walls. And people are like, well, great match, it saved the card. No, it didn't save the card. The worst matches last night were Orton Edge, Taker AJ Styles, and the John Cena Bray Wyatt thing. Those were 3 of the worst matches I've seen in my life. I can't believe people are pretending they're good matches. Compare AJ Styles and Undertaker Boneyard match. I mean, I will say there were good parts. And the good parts are just the fact that a badass Undertaker is back. That's pretty much it. Everything else doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, compare AJ Styles, the new Shawn Michaels, and Undertaker versus Undertaker Shawn Michaels. Compare that and tell me if that was still a good match. It's not even close. It's not even close. AJ Styles has had better matches with Amazing Red on like TNA Explosion. This was garbage. You know, it was so bad in my opinion that even Undertaker coming back as American Badass was ruined because of this goofy cheesiness. And once again, I understand this has been done before. Ultimate Deletion. But Ultimate Deletion at the end of the day, motherfucks, was done between Matt and Jeff Hardy, okay? It was not done between Undertaker and AJ Styles, who's positioned to be a multiple-time champion down the line and already is a multiple-time champion. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, imagine Stone Cold and The Rock, Funhouse of Horrors match. No, idiots. That what happens with that is you put Raven and Rhino in that match, and you put The Rock and Stone Cold in a serious match at the end of the night that's gonna be good, and it's gonna have emotion and it's gonna have character. You know what I mean? That's the idea. Not like, oh, let's take our arguably one of the best wrestlers of all time, The Undertaker, and ruin him, in my opinion, like basically ruin him by having him be this like old man who's just breaking kayfabe. This has AEW written all over it. I don't know who was responsible for this. They're saying it was Kurt Angle. I don't know, and I don't really care. Apparently, they just had Nia Jax squash some broad and Seth Rollins squash some guy, and now they're showing the fucking Boneyard match. I'll watch it again. Maybe I'll change my mind. I mean, like, actually, as I'm watching it, I'll talk about it a little bit. Undertaker looks great, no doubt about it. His attire is sick. The beginning of this match is legit. The set design is cool considering what it was. I thought it'd be even cheesier. But the problem with this match, motherfuckers, is the teleportation, number one, and someone, I think it was Granite, he made a lot of good points, I will concede. Granite made a lot of good points, and he would say, for example, I didn't notice that the Druids came with AJ Styles, right? I thought they just came out of nowhere. I'm not sure if they did or not, but whatever. The Druids came out and attacked Undertaker. They're just showing that right now, actually. And that's fine. Granite did make some points that I had missed. That's for sure. However, at the end of the day, one of the points that he made was that, like, oh, Undertaker's been, a lot of people have been saying this, Undertaker's been teleporting for 30 years. No, he hasn't. Not really, motherfuckers. He hasn't been teleporting for 30 years. Everything else that he does is feasible. You know what I'm saying? Like, the lights go off, and then he appears behind someone. Like, but he actually does that. Like, he runs in the dark, he runs and goes behind the person. You know? They don't do, and secondly, this has never happened in a match. As far as I know in the WWE 2K20 and 2K19, they have, like, it's one of your, payback moments, right? Not payback, but you know what I'm talking about, the one where you, like, fill up the bar, and then one of them is, like, the lights go off, and the Undertaker, like, appears behind, if you play as Undertaker or Bray Wyatt, you appear behind them, and you have, like, a finisher, right? Like, but in as far as I can tell, I've never seen in a wrestling match, Undertaker, like, win or lose a match because he teleported. I've never seen this in WWE in my life. It's just some AEW shit. And that's the thing that bothers me. If it wasn't for that, like no joke, if it wasn't for that, and the fact that, like, the Druids came out of nowhere and all this other shit, this match would have been great. I agree. This would have been a great cinematic masterpiece, as some would say. But the fact that Undertaker had to rely on teleportation, and the fact that he was like, he was talking to AJ, he's like, you want to make fun of my age again, boy? It didn't make sense, because it's like, dude, I put you in a fucking grave. AJ Styles put this guy in a grave, and only because he had magical powers, he was able to overcome him. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, and also the cheesiness of AJ Styles' arm out of the grave. It's just kind of goofy shit. I don't know what they're going to do with AJ Styles, if they're going to just have him come back up. I'm just going to say, motherfuckers, the facts are what they are. You know, again, we can agree, disagree. That's totally fine. That's what I want. That's one of my main goals, is to have, like, a platform where people can come. That's why I support people like AJ 2000 to come and talk shit if you want, because I want a place where everyone can say what they want, right? I don't want a place where people are like, oh, you're a fag, you're an idiot, you're a retard, you know? And that's fine. We can have different opinions. But my main point here today is this, that if you're entertained by things that go beyond the medium of wrestling, like if you're, like, for example, if you're someone that was entertained because Luke Harper made fun of Vince McMahon, you're a mark, and you're a smart, right? If you're entertained by the fact that Cena made fun of himself, that joke is only funny to you and me, to people that have been watching wrestling forever. You know, like I said earlier, what about the other people that haven't been watching wrestling forever, that don't know about WCW, that haven't gone back and looked at the history, right? It's just like when you watch, like, the World Cup and someone's like, yeah, like 1933, like, this guy for Argentina scored 3 goals. You know what I mean? And then, like, I have a friend who knows all that shit, and he's like, yeah, it's true. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to watch the game today. I don't give a fuck what Cena did 10 years ago, or what Hulk Hogan did, or how Bray Wyatt feels about this. You know, I want badass characters, motherfuckers. I don't want some fat pussy like Bray Wyatt who's like, oh, you helped me back, John. You held me back. Sister Abigail tried to push me, but you got everything handed to you. How the fuck did he get anything handed to him? John Cena is like a dude who just came into wrestling, and they're like, all right, kid, here, we're going to give you a push. And he became the biggest guy, arguably ever, in the history of wrestling. Bray Wyatt, who's the son of like 17 jobbers, you know what I'm saying? This guy had everything handed to him. They looked at him, you're a fat piece of shit. He goes there, they're like, all right, we'll give you another chance. And then he becomes Bray Wyatt, and he gets infinite chances to become relevant. And he will never be over with the mainstream normal people audience. Don't forget, motherfuckers, the people that are out there in the stands are not normal wrestling fans. These are the hardcore fans, you know. And I think that me and a lot of people in that watch my videos, and a lot of people that do YouTube videos. I don't want to use the term IWC because I am in no way, shape, or form part of that weird ass community. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess I am because I do wrestling videos, but you understand what I'm saying. I want to make it clear that I am distancing myself in concept from the people that that know things like, oh, Bret Hart in 1983, he fought like Tatsunimi Fujimashi and like Osaka, Japan. I don't know any of that shit, and I don't want to know any of that shit. I have a very good amount of wrestling knowledge from the time that I've watched wrestling. I didn't go back and start studying weird shit like these weirdos. Oh, have you seen Karl Gotch versus like Futsunami Tajami from Japan? No, I haven't, motherfuckers. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go to WWE Network and look at like AAW, what the fuck is called, AWA, all that shit? Absolutely not. I'm going to go back and I'm going to start watching the day I started watching wrestling. I'm not even going back 1 week. I don't give a fuck. I started watching wrestling when the first match I ever saw was Kane and X-Pac versus 2 people. That's all I care about. That's what I'm starting. I'm not starting even 5 minutes before that. So there you go, motherfuckers. I don't want to be associated with these people that are like, well, this match, I don't want to sound like the fucking Dave Meltzers is what I'm saying. These bunch of weirdos who are like, oh, you know what it is? Like, I really enjoyed this match in small time Japan Wrestling League Alpha. That was a really good match. I mean, I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch that shit. It sounds boring as fuck. I'm not going to watch it. I will watch wrestling that I enjoy or that I think I might one day enjoy. And I've watched a lot of things, don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to sit here and watch things of the past and try to be a smart and then try to kind of hold that over the head of new, more casual fans. You know what I'm saying? It's exactly that. It's like if you go to any UFC video, from one of the old fights, people will be like, oh, casuals don't know about this fight. It's something to be proud of. If you started watching wrestling yesterday or 30 years ago, there's something to be proud of here, right? So when WWE does something to cater to a specific group of people known as smarks, like they did with Bray Wyatt and AJ Styles, then you cannot condemn AEW and support this. You either condemn both things, right? This is on the same level as having Orange Cassidy. You either condemn Orange Cassidy, right? You are neutral to Orange Cassidy, I suppose, or you support Orange Cassidy. But based on that, if you hate Orange Cassidy, you have to hate Bray Wyatt versus Cena because it's the same goofball nonsense of haha, this isn't really real. You know what I mean? That's the idea. That's the idea, cucks. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's all I got to say about that. Now, apparently, they're not even showing the remainder of that Boneyard match. It's just Humberto Carrillo. Wow, they really got all the jobbers in this Monday night. You know what I'm saying? They really, really did a good job here, cucks. I don't know what to tell you, motherfuckers. All I know is that these bitches don't know what they're doing with this product anymore. And with that, I'm going to have to let you guys go because this video is already long enough. So if anything else happens, I'll talk about it in the next video or something. Kids! Stay dirty, bitches. Stay dirty. Oh, before I go, I just want to say this. A lot of people have been suggesting videos, and one of the things that I really liked was the fact that someone suggested, oh my God, it's Humberto Carrillo versus a guy called Brendan Vink. I can't tell which one's more of a jobber. But anyways, here's what I got to say, motherfuckers. And I'm going to say it like this. All right? Now that I've reached 500 subscribers, which I'm very happy about, I will be taking a series of requests. So if you have any requests of videos you want to see me do, put them down in this video. Thus far, we're working with a few. Someone said do 25 reasons why Lashley is awesome, which I should do. But I'm not going to make that my 500 subscriber special. Someone else suggested for my 500 subscriber special to do 50 reasons why Vince McMahon rules. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that soon, probably next, motherfucks, because I don't think there's wrestling tomorrow, so I might do it tomorrow. I don't know. I'm going to have to slow it down a bit because Corona Mania is over, you know what I mean? That my doing a video every day, it's going to have to take a little bit of a break now. But we'll see, motherfucks. We'll see. I love all of you. I welcome people to disagree with me. Don't feel bad if you disagree with me. Don't feel bad if you think I'm a retard. Totally fine. In the hater channel, we speak our minds. We don't hold anything back around here. They say those other channels where you have to agree with a host or you have to agree with each other. No, you don't. You say whatever the fuck you want. This is a free zone, motherfuckers. And a free zone is kind of like a safe space, except it's not for pussies. You understand what I'm saying? That's all I got to say about that. Peace out. Stay dirty. Stay healthy. And let's hope that this week goes by as quickly as possible and there are as few deaths as possible from this bullshit coronavirus that is ruining all of our lives, motherfucks. All right, bitches. See you motherfucks later, bitches!